Without further ado, we're going to jump right into today's topic, which is tools, services, and supplies for VAW shelters during the pandemic. So we have three great presentations coming up. We're going to get started with Eric, Wanda, and Melissa, the team from Grandin Toy. And they're going to tell you a little bit about the value of their program for shelters and transition houses, best practices to keep your environment and shelter safe, and the different offerings that they have available for you. So they'll have 15 minutes and then 5 minutes for you to ask them any questions you have. And then Jessica, who's here from Facebook, is going to speak with us about Facebook's new community help feature and how you can use that to access supplies, volunteers, and offer services in your community. And again, she'll have 15 minutes and then 5 minutes for Q&A. And then we'll wrap up with Stephen from Resource Connect, who's going to tell us about their platforms for confidential communications, whether that's internally with clients, video and audio calls, and so he'll wrap up the webinar with that. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen here, and Wanda, if you would like to share your screen, please go ahead, and I'll pass it over to Grandin Toy.
Thanks, Leah. Good afternoon and good morning to everybody out west. My name is Eric Foley and I'm the account manager for all the shelter locations across Canada. Joining me today from Grandin Toy is my district sales manager, Wanda Cardy, and Melissa Girardi. Melissa is a facility product specialist and a subject matter expert in the products used to keep shelters safe and healthy. I wanted to start this presentation by stating how proud the three of us are and Grandin Toy is to support the shelters and the incredible women who contribute so much to their communities. We at Grandin Toy understand the hard work being put in by each shelter to make sure that staff, women, and children are safe. Next slide, please. A few of the challenges that we've noticed and that we've seen with the shelters. Health and safety of staff, residents, and children, obviously a big focus in 2020 especially. Increased operational costs in 2020, an increase in cleaning protocols, and school boards closing, and the uncertainty of them opening in the fall. So with these challenges in mind, let's now take a look at the solutions Grandin Toy can offer all shelters that will help combat the challenges facing them. But first, let's go to the next slide and we'll have Wanda talk to you about the supply chain.
Hi, everyone. As you guys know, you guys have experienced a lot of changes, and as has our organization through COVID, mostly through the disruptions that have happened through our supply chain. COVID has really put a heightened focus on infection control, which is something that we worked really closely with, mostly in our healthcare vertical. So we had really great relationships with organizations that had infection control products, but unfortunately everybody was capped at the beginning of COVID with a 5% increase to what their allotment was. And then most of our allotment was allocated towards frontline workers. Understanding that you guys are frontline workers in your own right and within our own communities and a very important service, I thought it was really important to help you understand kind of what happened. And the best case that I could tell you is about wipes, right? We take a look at wipes and we take it almost for granted how easily we can use them to wipe down a surface. But unfortunately, when you have a spike in supply and, in demand and supply that's kind of tight, what actually ended up happening wasn't on the product side, but more on the other pieces of what goes into that product, like the containers that they go in, right? So although manufacturing was able to keep up with the demand for the actual product, the plastic manufacturers that came from China were completely closed down and we didn't have access to the containers that we could put the product in, right? Now we're running into another problem where, again, the manufacturer has enough chemical, but the substrate or the actual wipe that you put the chemical on has actually run into a manufacturing backlog. So the supply chain has changed quite a bit over the last little bit of time, and all product has been hard to come by consistently. and product availability has been really tight inside of the market, Grindin Toy has recognized that this was something that impacted our customer experience and your experience with us. So with that, we pivoted and we innovated with our technology teams, and we created 2 new programs that are going to help you understand where your product is. It's called Where Is My Order, that you can use to find out where is your order inside of the supply chain, and a feature that allows you to say, let me know when this product is available. That will alert you when a product is in stock and we do have it available for you. We are lucky in terms of the fact that we are cash rich in one way, where we were able to pivot our supply chain really quickly and start working with new suppliers to make sure that we have product available for you at all times. I know that for some of the shelters you've experienced, some longer delays, as has everybody in the market, as we allocate towards the frontline workers and hospitals. But we're putting these tools in place to really help you understand where you are with our systems. Eric, with that, I'm going to pass it back over to you. And if there are any questions about supply chain specifically, I can deal with them at the end, but I don't want to take up too much time.
All right, thanks, Wanda. So the next slide is basically all about protective personal equipment. So let's start with the top left. So the most popular piece of PPE Grindin Toy has is the disposable 3-ply mask. The Canadian government, as well as provincial governments, have strongly recommended the wearing of masks, advising Canadians to wear them as an extra layer of protection. Grindin Toy has a continuous stock of single-use face masks available to order. These masks provide 3 layers of filtration protection and are easy to breathe. If you take a look underneath, so bottom left, you'll see that we also offer children's reusable masks. These cloth masks come in a variety of pretty cool designs that will make wearing masks a more enjoyable experience for children. Another popular piece of PPE is nitrile gloves. So this is a market that due to the pandemic has seen global shortages. We have seen product come in sporadically for consumer purchase, but we did recently get some good news. Grindin Toy has been able to secure a large shipment of disposable gloves in all sizes that will be available to order in the coming weeks, in the next couple of weeks rather. So in the top right, you'll see the contactless thermometers. And these have become must-have items during the pandemic, and Grindin Toy has multiple options available to order. Isolation gowns underneath the contactless thermometers have also been a highly sought-after product from day one, and we now have level 1 and 2, level 2 gowns. These are special order items with limited quantities available, so please reach out to me for details. The last piece of PPE we are going to discuss is the face shield. This has been a very popular product during the pandemic as it provides direct splash protection. Grindin Toy has a strong inventory of this product available for immediate order. Next slide, please. So the next slide, this slide is about COVID signage. Signage has been an integral part of Canada's return to work plan. It provides both clear expectation and enhances awareness for both staff and guests. Companies are using signage as an extra layer of protection to keep staff and clients safe and healthy. Grindin Toy has many different signage options available in both 12 by 12 and 12 by 18 sizing. Signage options available range from multiple hand washing ones to social distancing sign to floor decals advising clients, visitors where to stand. These signs are made to order and will arrive within 5 to 7 business days. Melissa?
Okay, so for the next slide, we're going to talk about what it means to sanitize your shelter. Various areas you'll want to use sanitizing products where maybe food surfaces come to mind, areas where the children might be touching things with their mouths, so that goes with like toys and things like that. When we think about hard surface disinfection, Grand & Toy does have a number of supplies that will definitely help you out with proper COVID sanitation practices. So those are Health Canada approved disinfectant sprays, such as the product in the top left, and those are also available scent-free. Some of them have different properties available that will help you also degrease your surface or just make sure that it's safe for your environment. So we have lots of different options for you there. And as a facility specialist and subject matter expert for these types of items, I'm definitely here to help you out and answer any questions that you may have when it comes to disinfecting versus sanitizing. We also have a number of items available like antibacterial soap and microfiber cloth that can be used in conjunction with these products, along with a large variety of different hand sanitizers in various sizes. Next slide, please. This is a popular piece of equipment that has helped many organizations disinfect large surface areas in a short amount of time. So you'll see these often, in community centers or areas where there's a lot of volume. So maybe a lot of children going through a school as an example. But this also works very well for the shelters in that it'll help you disinfect any areas where people are moving in and out and they're touching things very often. You'll be able to use any disinfectant spray inside of this. And we have either the backpack style available or a smaller version as well for smaller areas to cover.
All right, so this slide is our sneeze guard offering. So during this time, sneeze guards have become a very popular item and used in an effort to protect the health and safety of client-facing employees and visitors. These guards come in multiple styles based on the application. So they some have a pass-through option for documents, some have a pass-through option for cash, any sort of currency. So we are seeing sneeze guards used at grocery stores, municipal offices, and any business where interaction with clients, visitors take place. So the sneeze guards are easy to install and to remove, and most importantly, are easy to sanitize and clean. They also stand up to continuous cleaning to help stop the potential spread of the coronavirus. Next slide, please. So this has become a very popular item in 2020, the Seal Shield. So basically, these are custom cut sizes that you can apply to any high touch surface. So you see it says from an Apple Watch to a 75-inch screen. You can clean this with any sort of common disinfectant. The nice part about them, touchscreen compliant, impact protection, and yeah, these are a fantastic option. Next slide, please. So Grand & Toy, we basically have many different tech options available. The first being, if you look at the first, you see the iPad Air. So we have a couple of bundle options available. So the bundle option for the iPad Air is or a Samsung tablet is you can get a refurbished tablet with a screen or a case, as well as a keyboard. So we have those available. The second, you see a laptop there, and that kind of leads into our next bundle option, and that's the ready to learn or learn from home bundle. So that comes with a refurbished laptop, a printer, 2 reams of copy paper, pens, pencils, and a notebook. So that is available to everybody across Canada and a great option for children learning from home. So also available, and I've seen this personally because I didn't have the best setup at home when we left the office. So we have keyboards, we have monitors, we have sit stands, we have anything you need to be productive and to stay connected in the shelter. Next slide, please. So the next steps, how to set up an account and order product. email myself, Eric Foley at grandandtoy.com. We'll do a quick review of the product offering. We'll customize a solution to the shelter's needs. It's a quick, easy account setup, and we'll place the order. Next slide, please.
Great, so Eric, is that all for your presentation?
Yes, that's everything.
Perfect, you are right on time.
Thank
you so much, Eric and Wanda and Melissa. So we have a 5-minute question period. If you have any questions for the team at Grand and Toy, please put them in that Q&A box right now, and we'll get to them as much as we can within the few minutes. Don't hesitate. Okay, so seeing no questions, although you can still put them in if you have them, I'll just say thank you once again to all three of you for that really informative presentation. And maybe I'll pass it over to Jessica in that case.
Great, I'll go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can everyone see my screen?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you everybody for your time. My name is Jessica Lau-Meisler, and I'm on the Social Good Partnerships team at Facebook. And today I'll walk you through a new tool, a reimagined tool called Community Help that your shelter organizations can use to request resources like supplies and volunteers, and also offer information about your programs and services to your community. And so a little bit about me. I've been at Facebook for over 2 years, always on this social good team. And we are really here to work with nonprofits and organizations from all sizes, grassroots to global, to help them better use our products and shape and influence our products to make sure that they help improve communities and generally the betterment of society. So let's just jump right in. This agenda is pretty straightforward. I'll talk a little bit about why we built Community Help. I'll walk through a few real examples. And then most importantly, lastly, how to post, how your shelter organization admins of your Facebook page can do this today. So a bit of history. The team that built Community Help at Facebook was formerly the Crisis Response Team. And this was the team that built tools where people could mark themselves safe after a natural disaster or a violent incident. And when people marked themselves safe, notifications were sent out on Facebook to their friends and family. And what we learned from this tool and product over the course of many years is that in times of crisis, people want to help. There's an outpouring of generosity and normal social barriers break down. So people are more willing to help a neighbor, check on someone in their community, kind of pick up a shovel and volunteer and help rebuild and recover. And it was clear with COVID-19 turning the world upside down that this was a new type of crisis, an unprecedented type of crisis, and we needed to reimagine our tools to fit with the kind of new types of help that were being requested and offered. So to see Community Help, you can go to facebook.com/community_help. And the idea is that this is a surface on Facebook where people and organizations can request or offer help from their local community. So think within an 80-kilometer or 50-mile radius. And the types of things people can do on the surface, like I mentioned, is to request volunteer work or supplies, or offer information about available services, often free available services to the public. So on that left screen there on your phone, you can see kind of when we first released this in March, there was a lot of messaging around our fundraising efforts for the World Health Organization and the CDC, the Center of Disease Control in the States. And then on the right screen, you can see some just mock examples of how we saw people using it. So For example, Garen's post there is requesting supplies in the form of masks and aspirin for his mom, a family member diagnosed with COVID. And then that second example below him is a post from Lance saying that he's healthy and he has a car and he can offer transportation of groceries or delivery. And so this was kind of the start of our product. To walk through a few examples from all around Canada, I know we have quite a spread out audience here. The first example on the left is from Mount Paul Community Food Center in Kamloops, British Columbia. Hope I'm saying that right. Here they are offering free community meals at lunch. Pick up a terrific takeaway. Everyone's welcome. So they included very specific hours, even photos of the food available for pickup. And they also included a link for meal delivery. If this time and wasn't available to you, you could go to their website to get more information. The second example is from Toronto Intergenerational Partnerships, a small youth organization there. And really, it's helpful to be succinct in the offer. Here, they were offering volunteers to do food bag delivery. So if you think of someone scrolling through the surface, having kind of a quick, succinct message is useful. And then the last one is a bit of a heartwarming example, Stuffies for Smiles. This is a family in Milton, Ontario, collecting stuffies, books, art supplies for kids to celebrate birthdays. And this was before Mother's Day. So in the first couple of weeks, I got 200 stuffies just through the generosity of people. And then over the course of a few months, over 2,500 stuffies collected all through this tool. So really, really powerful. Two more examples. Here is the Essential Aid and Family Services of Ontario. Really informative post. They are a specialty food bank, and they are looking for help to collect diapers, infant cereal, breastfeeding supplies, really specific targeted items. But it's a lot of information and kind of wordy here. So what I would suggest is to kind of break this up into multiple posts so the calls to action are really clear and people know exactly what to bring and how to help. And then this last one is the Southwest Communities Center in Calgary, Alberta. And what's nice about this is they offer kind of a few things. They specifically mention mental health support, and they also include their email and a phone number. So including how you want to be contacted is great so that people know how to best reach you. Okay, so lastly, how your shelter organization Facebook page admins can do this today. 3 easy steps. 1, going to facebook.com/community_help. 2, clicking that blue request help button, or right next to it is also the offer help button to offer your programs and services, for example. And then step 3 would be to write the request or offer. There are some structured categories. There are 8 listed here. So I would say supplies, for example, or toiletries is one category. So if you do need donated wipes or sprays or certain art supplies, that sort of thing, you can choose a relevant category. There's also other in there as well if something doesn't quite fit. And then I mentioned this previously, there's a contact method dropdown, so you can select if you want people to message you through Messenger, WhatsApp, or an email address of your choice. I know that often smaller charities or nonprofits have kind of a shared Gmail or email account, and so you could select that as a way to collect responses. And then just a couple of notes is that when you post on Community Help, it'll also show up on your Facebook page timeline. So think of this as like extra reach to people within that 80-kilometer radius of where you're located. And then to keep the content fresh, the post will auto close after 7 days, but you can always undo that close to keep it going if it's something that you're continually offering. So those are just kind of 2 details. And that's all I have for you. Pretty quick, easy, straightforward. Happy to turn it back to Leah and team and take some questions.
Great, thank you so much, Jessica. That's awesome, very informative. So why don't you take your screen share off, and I'll encourage folks to put their questions into the Q&A box if you have any. While you're typing in your questions for Jessica, we did have a question come in for the team at Grandin Toy. So maybe I will throw that question to them, and hopefully by that time we'll have a few questions for you as well, Jessica. So Eric, Wanda, and Melissa, there was a question about someone saying one of the things they'd be interested in knowing is the pricing of some of these different products. So maybe you could speak to how people find out the prices or any information you can share about that.
Sure. So if you don't already have an account set up, please contact Eric or myself. Eric has provided his contact info, which we can share again with all of you. And from there, we'll create an account for you. You'll have access to our website to order all the products online. Anything that you're unable to find, or for special order items, you can certainly go to Eric and myself, and we'll be able to provide you with a quote.
Great. Thank you, Melissa. So I haven't seen any other questions come in. So perhaps what I'll do is we'll move on to the section with Stephen from Resource Connect. And we may have the same thing happen where we have a question for Facebook for Jessica later on. So Stephen, why don't I pass it over to you? Welcome.
Hello.
Take it away.
Welcome. Thank you for this. Let me see if we can get the awkward screen sharing bit out of the way before I continue on with too much. And yeah, you see my screen?
Yep, that's great.
Great. Okay, so my name is Stephen Jenkins. I am the founder and lead developer of two different products that are built specifically for victim service organizations. The first one is EmpowerDB, and the second one that I'll be talking about today is Resource Connect. Resource Connect is a communication tool for you to securely communicate with members of your own team and outside people who are seeking your support. So you can communicate with these people over a end-to-end encrypted web chat or through an SMS text, a phone number you set up. And you can also do one-to-one video calls and audio calls, as well as online support groups. So I don't have slides. I'm just going to show you how all this works. I think that's really kind of the best way. So here we have what I call the provider portal. So this is where all the communications happen. So the people, the chats that we're having with members of our team are happening in through here. The messages that people, outside people send in end up coming through here. Yeah, just great to have it all be in one place. So I just have another computer over on this side where I turned it on, and here now we have Gloria. So Gloria is a fake person who works with us, and we can come over here and chat with her. Hey, Gloria. And she sees the message. So again, it's a communication tool. We're not breaking too much ground aside from the fact that it's end-to-end encrypted and an appropriate place to be having confidential communications about survivors. Not the one to say don't use email. There's a time and a place for email, but email is not a secure form of communication. And especially when, right now I know people are scattered, all, aren't congregating up in offices like you used to. It's just nice to have kind of a secure chat platform to communicate with each other. You can also use this as a way to, maybe, so Carrie isn't online right now. Maybe we want to send her a confidential message. We'll enter in some similar gibberish there. And so it says, okay, that's something confidential. We want to let you know it's not appropriate to put that through email, but we do want to make sure that Carrie sees that. So I can say send notification email. And now an email gets sent to Carrie that says, hey, on Resource Connect, there's an important message waiting for you. Please go take a look at that. It doesn't say what it is, but at least gets her, make sure she knows that that's there. So there's that direct messages between staff, but you can also have different, internal groups that you set up. So every account that uses Resource Connect, every organization has just the everyone group that everyone gets to see, but you can also create various other groups to say, okay, maybe we only have certain staff who we want to be part of our hotline team group, and then everybody can chat on the hotline group channel there. Similar kind of thing where, let's say there's a really important legal thing that we want to let everybody know about. Really important legal thing. We can say send notification email, and now an email goes out to everybody to let them know that there's an important conversation happening in the legal advocates internal group that they should go take a look at. So that covers kind of the internal communications for now. There's also, we can talk about the communicating with people who are seeking your support. So for that, I'll kind of switch over and show you the admin controls here, where you be able to set up your own web address that you can either just distribute. You can send an email out to people saying, hey, click here to chat with us. You can make a button on your web page that says, click this button, and it sends off to this link to go chat with you. Or you can kind of embed the chat within your own web page to make it look extra seamless. There's no desire on my end to make it so that people you're chatting with know that they're on Resource Connect. We want it to make it look like you're able to get everything be as seamless as possible, match your you can customize how the chat looks and with the colors and all that to match your own branding. We want it to just to be as seamless as possible for the people who are using your service to communicate with you. So you can make whatever, set up whatever alias you want. So my fake one I have here is called a new place. And so this would be my chat link for that. And I can go and pretend to be a chatter on that chat page. So let's say, this could have been a chatter is on your webpage, and it's click here to chat, they click a link, and suddenly they're here and able to communicate with you. So on your end, we now see someone external direct messages has come along. Maybe they say hello. And now we get a little beeping noise to let us know there's a new message here. If you don't have anybody online at the time, it will send you an email to send whoever you want, with whichever users that you want, an email that says, help, there's a new message waiting for you, nobody's online. And that way you're sure not to miss anything. It won't say what the message is, but it will say that there's a new message there, and then give a link to go view it. So we come over here. We have to say assign to me before we can respond. And now that puts this conversation within our own little section that we can communicate with, and we can talk back. Again, this is end-to-end encrypted, which is really what you want for any kind of all this kind of communications. There's other platforms that are built for commercial purposes. You've been to any kind of e-shopping webpage that you've been to now. The little thing will pop up at the bottom right that says, "Hey, how can I help you? Send us a message. We'll respond." Those things work, but the data sits on a server that can be accessed through a court order that another vendor can read. This data that these messages that went back and forth, when I look at them on my end through my server, it's just weird letters and numbers. And it's not even possible for me to read it because it's end-to-end encrypted with a encryption key that you control and you put on your computers. So there's lots of other features that are built for just this specific work. You can, obviously there's this quick escape button where if we press quick escape, it immediately takes us off to Google or whatever other web page that you define. If we are concerned that maybe this person we're talking with has somebody compromise their computer, we can delete them, and now the chat goes off of their screen, and whatever conversations happened before are now invisible to this person. Fortunately, technologically, it's always possible to click this back button. There's no way to prevent that, but at least when we come back and we see that chat, we start up a whole brainer session and we don't see what the conversation was before. Yep, and yeah, good segue. Let's talk about the text messaging feature. So you can sign up for your own phone number or you can transfer in a phone number that you already have. So this is always best if you want to be able to say, you can call or text us at this phone number. And it's a little bit more streamlined than saying, call us at this phone number or text us at that phone number, but either seems to be fine. So here I'm on my phone, I'm gonna text really classic hey there message, and then beep boop, here's a new conversation from this person, hey there, and I assigned this to me. Right back, typing poorly, and the message comes back on my phone, how can I help? There it is. All right, so as a provider, you're not having to pass around a phone from one person to another so that all your different advocates are able to respond. And you're also not having to, struggle with your little, a 2-inch little screen to have really important conversations with people. So everything on your end comes through this one window, but on the people you're communicating with, it's no difference. They're sending a text message, they get a text message back. What you can do is you can set up canned messages. So you can say, well, I'm really saying a lot asking people to do a safety check. And so I don't want to keep typing that all the time. So I can set up my own custom canned message to say, okay, are you sure you don't have a spyware on a computer? I recommend that you might want to think about having a canned message for, hey, maybe you want to use the web chat instead. SMS messages are not end-to-end encrypted. They're encrypted as can be from what I'm able to do with it, but it's like 100-year-old technology that's not able to be end-to-end encrypted. So it's nice to have SMS chat if you are trying to just get people in the door, so to speak, using a technology that they're comfortable with. Or if you're just not, the kind of work that you're doing, you don't have that same level of concern for confidentiality where you do think that it would be okay to have these kind of conversations over SMS chat. So I've just sent this, like, do you want to use the web chat instead link to the phone? I just click on the link on my phone, and then the web chat opens up on my phone, the conversation happens here. So we don't know that this is the exact same person, but we can assume that that's the same person. So the web chat works just as great over the phone, and so it's mobile optimized in that way as well. Another thing you can do is have voice and video calls. So I've assigned this chat to me, and I can start a video call like this. And on the phone's end here, it says someone's the person you're talking with is requesting a video call. Do you want to answer? And I'm going to try to answer. It might create like this weird feedback loop. That tends to happen when you're trying to talk to yourself. But when you're talking to somebody who's in a different room than you, it goes a lot smoother. So those video calls are end-to-end encrypted. You do not have to, the survivor you're talking with does not have to download an app or create an account. And all those three things are really important for making sure there's no trace that the person you're chatting with has had that conversation with you on their computer. Like other video services, you have to create an account or you have to download an app, and there just poses problems for leaving little bits of digital signatures that conversation was had. So this is meant to completely solve that. Everything for them happens completely in the web browser. They don't have to make an account. It just happens completely seamlessly like that. You can also do audio calls as well through that feature. So you just kind of round out a bunch of other stuff. You get like usage statistics, how many conversations am I having on the service during particular times. You can hold external support groups. I won't get too much into that, but like, let's say this person who's come in here, we want to assign ourselves to them and then invite them to join an external group. And then so you can have lots of people all together chatting in one group. And there's lots of controls that let you, disable people's keyboards so that only certain people you want to type can type at any one time. Have people click button to raise your hand. And Leigh, I thought I was going to set a timer for when I was going to go, and I forgot. So don't let me know if I'm going over, but I'm just.
You have maybe 2 more minutes, and then we'll switch to questions.
That'll be great. Yep, so there's that external support groups like that. And let's see, some other things that are potentially helpful for when you're having these web chats. You can set how long the messages stay on the server, kind of like at expiration settings. So you can come in here and say, messages that we haven't read yet. This is kind of low. I kind of say like maybe 3 days. That message, a message that no one has read, sits on a server for 3 days. But a message we have read, just get rid of that after 30 minutes. So that way, even though everything's end-to-end encrypted, there's no need to have these chats live on a data server forever. We live in a world now where everything has, I can search emails that I sent 20 years ago, and it's kind of cool, but there's just no need for that here. So let's just get those messages deleted automatically off of the server, it will delete from the provider portal window, and it will delete from the chatters window as well. And you can set your own custom join messages to say, okay, whatever you want for people to see when they join onto your service. So really, and then here's the last bit. So let's say this person was chatting and then they just completely went silent, disappeared. After whatever amount of time that you set, this one is set to 15 minutes. It will warn them and say, hey, you haven't said anything for 15 minutes. You got to send a message in the next minute, or else we'll kick you off to your quick escape location. And then if they haven't said anything, then the chat page goes away. And that way, just in case somebody had to click and exit the room, that their conversation doesn't stay up on the computer forever. So if you have questions, start asking those now. But if there are questions that you think of after the fact, or you are watching this recording and you cannot ask questions, you can go to resourceconnect.com and click on this FAQ section. I try to have every single thing that people would want to ask answered at some point, somewhere in here. If you can't find what you're asking for, if you have a question that isn't on there, feel free to reach out to us in this contact us form. If you want to sign up, it's as easy as going here to click join, to the join section and clicking join, and your account will all be ready right away. And if you're interested in pricing, here is the pricing page. Make sure to switch the currency to Canadian dollars, and you'll see this pricing. But do know that Resource Connect is currently free for the remainder of 2020. The web chat functionality is free for the remainder of 2020. And that was something done out of response to the global pandemic. But if you want to use the SMS chat, you still do have to pay that price, because there's I do have to pay a telecommunications provider some fees in order to make that all happen.
Great. Thanks, Stephen. That's super informative and great to see it on the screen there. So people can type their questions in there for Stephen. Maybe while they're doing that, Stephen, I'll ask you to just take the screen share off for a moment. And I'm just going to, while people are putting their questions in for Stephen, I'll maybe just share a question that Jessica had answered in the Q&A box in case people didn't see that. So someone had asked how many people are part of the Community Help Facebook page across Canada or Ontario. And Jessica, you had said you don't have exact numbers, but it's live in 132 countries and everyone in Canada can access it with thousands of people visiting each week. I don't know if you want to add anything, Jessica, while people are putting in questions for Stephen.
Sure. Just to emphasize that the community help feature is for both people, individuals, and organizations. So if you visit it today, you can see that there's a lot of person-to-person help, But my role in the partnerships team is really to help enable organizations to be part of that as well. So when you're making a post, you'll actually see there's like a toggle. You can post as yourself, or you can post as your shelter organization if you administer that page. So just wanted to share that. And it's still a new tool, developing and evolving. So any feedback as well. I left my email on the slides, but if you want to get in touch, my email is jlm@fb.com.
Great, thanks, Jessica. And so, Stephen, I'll turn it over to you. There was a question there about the text messaging feature.
So I saw that as it came in, and I tried to integrate what I was talking about with that text messaging. So yeah, you can, when you sign up for the service, you will go to, oh, you can't see the screen anymore. You'll go to the external SMS chat section, and it'll say, okay, do you want to get a brand new phone number, or do you want to use a phone number you already own? If you already own the phone number, you have to contact us. We go through a process. If you want a brand new phone number, then you type in the area code you want. It shows you what number is available. You press whatever number you want, and that's your phone number, and it's ready to use immediately.
Great, thank you, Stephen. So there is a few more minutes here before we wrap up. So if you have any outstanding questions for Stephen or for any of the other presenters, please feel free to put those in the Q&A box. I'll just give everyone a few seconds to do that. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get that typed out. And in the meantime, while people might be typing, I'll just mention again that we have been recording this. And so if you didn't have a chance, if you missed the beginning, or you want to share this with other people at your shelter, you can do so afterwards. I will be sharing the recording. And yeah, if you had any additional questions for any of the presenters, they have also let you know how you can reach out to them, which is great. So I don't see any other questions coming in. So I'll just say once again, thank you so much to all of our presenters. This has been super informative, very packed with information that will be useful to all of the shelters listening in. So thank you so much for joining us. So someone is asking how they'll access the recording. So if you registered for the webinar, which you did because you're here, I will be emailing you the recording afterwards. It will probably be a few days before it's ready, but towards the end of this week, I will be emailing you the recording, and then it will also be available on our YouTube channel. So you can access that through our website or YouTube. Wanda, did you want to say something? I saw you kind of come back on here.
Come back on and then leave again quickly when I realized I was on video. Yes, I did. I just wanted to say thank you very much for hosting this and giving us the opportunity to speak with everybody today.
Great, thanks, Wanda. And thank you to everyone else, to Eric, Melissa, Stephen, Jessica, and to you, Wanda, and to everyone who's been listening in. So thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. And I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you, Leah.
Bye. Bye, everyone.